You've probably tried at least one productivity system that promised to change your life. Maybe it was color-coded calendars, or those fancy digital apps with 17 different notification settings, or elaborate bullet journal spreads that took 3 hours to set up each week. And here's what happened. You felt motivated for exactly 2 weeks. Then the system became a chore, and eventually you abandoned it entirely. You're not lazy or undisciplined. The system failed you. This video breaks down exactly why complex productivity systems collapse, and I'm going to show you a clean, functional planner model that actually works because it respects how your brain really operates. If you're looking for practical planning advice that cuts through the noise, hit subscribe so you don't miss the framework we're building here. Let's start with the fundamental problem. Complex productivity systems fail because they demand too much overhead. When you build a system that requires constant maintenance, endless categorization, and perpetual tweaking, you're not being productive. You're doing busy work disguised as organization. Think about the last elaborate planner you tried. You had sections for goals, mini-goals, daily priorities, weekly reviews, monthly themes, quarterly reflections, and maybe even yearly visions. Each section required its own logic, its own symbols, its own update schedule. Your brain wasn't planning anymore. Your brain was managing the system. That's the first trap, and it kills motivation faster than anything else. The second reason complex systems fail is they don't match reality. Real work doesn't happen in perfectly categorized buckets. You might start your day with a plan to finish a report, but then a critical email arrives. Your colleague needs 5 minutes of help, and suddenly you've context switched 4 times before lunch. A rigid system that demands you stick to predetermined categories creates cognitive dissonance. You feel like you're failing because the system can't flex with actual life. It's not that you lack discipline. It's that the system lacks realism. Third, complexity creates decision fatigue. Every time you open your planner, you face micro decisions. Which color should this task be? Should it go here or here? Does it belong in this category or that one? These tiny decisions drain mental energy that you should be spending on actual work. You end up procrastinating on your own planning process because the overhead feels too heavy. The irony is painful. A system designed to boost productivity becomes a procrastination machine. Fourth, complex systems are fragile. They depend on you maintaining perfect habits. Miss one day of your review ritual, and the entire architecture crumbles. You fall behind on categorization, and suddenly the system feels broken. A good system should survive imperfect execution. It should work even when you're tired, stressed, or traveling. It should be anti-fragile, not glass. Finally, complex systems often track things that don't matter. You end up with metrics and measurements that feel productive, but don't actually move you closer to your real goals. You're counting completed tasks instead of measuring progress. You're optimizing for the wrong thing, and that creates a hollow sense of accomplishment. You checked off boxes, but did you actually move the needle? Now let's build a better model. The functional planner has 3 core layers, and that's it. 3 layers that handle every legitimate planning need without the bloat. The first layer is your weekly view. This is the working surface. Your week lives on a single 2-page spread, and you can see the whole thing at once. Monday through Sunday, all visible. This might sound basic, but visibility is power. When you can see 7 days at a glance, you automatically spot overcommitment. You see patterns, you catch conflicts before they become crises. The human brain processes spatial information incredibly well. Use that. Put your week on a page where you can see it all at once. Inside your weekly view, you identify your 3 to 5 most important outcomes for that week. Not 10, not 20, 3 to 5. These are the things that, if they happen, make the week successful. Everything else is supporting activity. This ruthless prioritization is where the magic lives. Most people fail at productivity because they treat all tasks as equally important. They're not. Your brain knows this, but your system doesn't reflect it. A functional system makes primacy visible. You write down 3 to 5 key wins, and you orient your entire week around those. Your daily work then flows from those weekly outcomes. You don't plan in detail day by day. You plan weekly outcomes, then each morning you look at that day and ask a simple question. What do I need to do today to move the needle on this week's outcomes? That's your daily focus. 2 or 3 concrete actions. Not a task list of 20 items. 2 or 3 things you can actually accomplish. The rest is secondary. This removes decision fatigue because the framework is already set. You're not debating whether something matters. You already decided what matters at the weekly level. The second layer is your capture system. Your brain generates ideas constantly. You think of something you need to do, or something you want to explore, or a problem you just realized exists. If you try to decide immediately whether it's a task, a project, or just a passing thought, you interrupt your actual work. So have a single capture zone, a simple list. Phone, notebook, whatever. Something quick. You dump the thought there. The rule is if it takes longer than 10 seconds to capture, you're doing it wrong. Capture must be frictionless. Then during your weekly planning session, you process that capture list. You read through it and decide what actually matters for next week. The rest gets discarded. This prevents idea overload and keeps your brain clear. The third layer is your review ritual. Once a week, usually Sunday evening or Friday afternoon, you spend 30 minutes reviewing what happened, what didn't happen, and what you learned. You look at last week's 3 to 5 outcomes. Did they happen? If not, why not? Was the outcome unclear? Was there a genuine obstacle? Was it actually not as important as you thought? You learn from that. You review your capture list and extract next week's outcomes. You check your calendar for next week's constraints. Then you close the notebook. The review is complete. You don't carry last week's failures forward. They're digested, learned from, released. That's it. Weekly view, capture system, weekly review. Those 3 layers handle everything. No color coding required, no elaborate symbols, no 17 categories. Just a clean relationship between clarity, capture, and reflection. The planner itself is simple. A notebook, blank or dot grid. Lined pages if you prefer lines. That's all. The beauty of this model is that it's invisible when it works. You're not thinking about the system. You're thinking about your work. Now let's talk about why this layout reduces stress. Stress comes from 2 sources: uncertainty and overwhelm. You don't know what's coming, or you know that too much is coming. A functional planner addresses both. The weekly view eliminates uncertainty. You know exactly what you've committed to, and you know it's realistic, because you can see the whole week. There's no hidden overcommitment lurking on a future page. The priority system eliminates overwhelm. You're not trying to accomplish everything. You're trying to accomplish the things that matter. Your nervous system recognizes this and calms down. You move from reactivity to intentionality. That's where stress relief comes from. The capture system reduces a specific kind of stress, the anxiety of forgetting something important. Your brain can hold about 7 items in working memory. If you're trying to remember your 13 outstanding tasks, your email inbox, your calendar, and 3 ideas for next quarter, you're constantly stressed that something will slip. Offload it, capture it. Your brain relaxes because the information is stored externally. It's safe, you're not going to lose it. That alone cuts background anxiety dramatically. The weekly review creates closure. Your nervous system needs to know when something is finished. If you never close out a week, you carry it forward. You finish Friday and immediately pile on the next week's stress. A 30-minute review creates a clean boundary. Last week is done. You learned what you needed to learn. Now you're starting fresh. That boundary is psychologically powerful. Athletes know this. They have debriefs and recovery days. Your mind is the same. It needs closure. Let's walk through a real example. Sarah is a project manager at a mid-sized tech company. She's drowning. She tried a complex system with color-coded tasks, priority matrices, and daily time blocking. It worked for 10 days. Then a major bug hit production. Her priority system went out the window, and she never recovered the discipline to maintain the color coding. She felt like a failure even though she was working 80-hour weeks. Sound familiar? Here's what changed when she switched to the functional model. Sunday evening, Sarah opens her notebook. She reviews the past week. She successfully shipped a feature, resolved a team conflict, and cleared her inbox twice.